Hi everyone,
Welcome to our channel,
my name is Alyssa,
and my name is Daniel.
our daughter's name is Charlotte, and we are the Foley Family. Our small family of 3 is making the big move to the beautiful New Zealand.
Follow our journey and learn more information about the reasons and processes that got our Midwest family of 3 to move over 8,000 miles to the land of the Kiwis.
On this channel, we will make content following our journey from Missouri to New Zealand and everything along the way, as we are
Newly New Zealand.
Hello.
How's it going, everybody?
So, for everyone that's wondering, we have arrived. We are officially in New Zealand.
We have been here for about literally a week, actually, from today. Today is Monday, the 13th of June, and in the States, the United States, it's technically Sunday, June 12th.
12th, right.
So the time's been difficult.
Yeah, I think, and that's kind of why it's been so long since we've done a video. We wanted to do one right when we got here, but the time change has been really rough for us, mostly for Charlotte. It's 17 hours ahead of the United States. So we got here and just trying to transition Charlotte as much as possible. And she was waking up at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. Then it got to like 3:30 a.m. Today she slept till 5 a.m. So
we're getting there.
Today was like the day we got the most sleep. She's back for a nap again, but...
We're getting used to it. We are still figuring everything out, so we didn't want to make a video without having more understanding of kind of the things we've been going through. So now that we've gone through a lot, we feel a lot more comfortable talking to you guys and sharing our experience. But first,
we're going to start with the flight.
Let's talk about the flights.
There was a lot of flights. So we left Kansas City, and we went from Kansas City to Denver, Denver to San Francisco to Auckland, and then we were supposed to have one more to Tauranga. Still learning, but we'll get at that later. So Kansas City to Denver was fine. The seats were actually pretty comfy.
Yeah, spacious.
Yeah, pretty spacious. Good flight there. Charlotte did great. She was a little wonky, I would say, like the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Then she passed out and slept. And then
Denver to San Francisco had a rough start, needless to say.
So I think the lady that checked us in Kansas City was new and didn't really know too much of what she was doing, but we went to go board the plane in San Fran, and like, I don't know, red popped up on our names. I don't really know exactly what happened, but they had to like reload our tickets, and they asked us for like all of our documentation again. So like our passports, IDs, visas,
what's it called?
The COVID test, everything.
Declarations.
Yeah, the travel declarations, everything. So everyone else was already on the flight. So basically everyone was
held our flight up for like 30 to 45 minutes dealing with us. And I'm pretty sure everybody was pretty frustrated.
Yeah, so we went to go walk on the plane. And first of all, this was the biggest plane I've ever seen in my entire life. There was 54 rows. So typically on a plane...
54 rows.
Right. So typically on a plane, there's 3 on each side.
Yeah.
But on here, there's 3 on each side, like near the windows, and then there's
like
4 in the middle. So it was huge, but
big plane.
We went to go walk on, and the pilot came out, and he was like, "Oh, so happy you guys finally joined us." So
right in front of everybody.
Yeah.
But it wasn't our fault. We didn't do anything wrong. We did everything right. And then we eventually got on the flight, and we left, and we made it after about 2.5 hours.
That was the most uncomfortable flight I've ever been on in my life.
It was bad.
The seats like sat straight up, so
hard on your back.
It was pretty bad.
But then once we got there, I think everybody was late for their connecting flights, which we pulled into the gate like 20 minutes after our flight was supposed to leave for Auckland, New Zealand.
Yeah, so we were testing it. I was watching the app because, like Daniel mentioned, we pulled up to the gate after our flight was already supposed to leave. So we were stressing out because, it's like maybe 1 flight a day to New Zealand. So we didn't know what to do. We talked about maybe having to go to a hotel, but we couldn't do that because we didn't have a car seat or anything.
And we had like 9 or 10 suitcases on the plane, and we were wondering what was going to happen with that. It was a nightmare.
But we got there. I was checking the app, and then eventually it said delayed, and we got off and we sprinted across, and all these flight attendants were holding New Zealand signs. We're like, yeah, us.
So literally what happened was New Zealand Air knew that there's probably 15 of us
at least
connecting from San Francisco to go to New Zealand, and so they held the flight for us, which is huge because
Never
we
heard
were
of anyone
afraid they
doing
were
that
just going to
before.
straight up leave and we'd have to readjust everything and we'd be out money or whatever. So we were super appreciative of that, and we felt so much better.
Oh yeah.
And then, of course, when we got in the New Zealand air itself, we were blown away.
It was a totally different atmosphere. Like the flight attendant greets you at the door. She's like, "Hey, welcome." Literally brings you to your seat, sits you down, and we'll show some pictures and stuff as we're going through here. But oh my gosh, that was so comfortable. They had like nice pillows, nice blankets.
Yeah.
TV screens, and again, you'll see from
reclining
the pictures.
chairs like lazy boys. I wouldn't say they were as comfy as lazy boys, but we were able to recline in our seats pretty far back and able to sleep a lot of that flight. Thank goodness, because it wasn't overnighter. And it was 13 hours.
Yeah, and anyone looking like at flying to New Zealand, if you're curious, like what
we got
seat we're at, we were premium economy. So economy is the lowest you can get, and then premium economy, and then first class. So when you're looking at our seats and wondering, are these what I'm going to get for economy? No, you have to get premium economy to get the seats that kind of recline. I think it was
like only $500 more. I say only.
It depends,
but I think it wasn't much more expensive than regular, and for the comfortability of it, it's worth it.
Definitely worth it to us.
And the next step up from premium economy to, was it first class?
First class was like $5,000 extra.
First class was like, it was $5,000 more, but you got to lay down on your own bed, basically.
And it was like blocked off more.
It was better food, I think. But
so yeah, we got on the flight, took off after a little bit, and then basically it was probably like, I don't know, an hour into it. I had already tried to go to sleep because it was like midnight at that time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they turned on all the lights, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I'm trying to sleep.
Well, it's funny because they turned them all on so they could walk around and serve us food, but it's also like, well, it's midnight here, so why are we eating?
Yeah, why are we eating? This isn't like pretzels and peanuts. This is full four-course meal, like appetizer. Then they had the meal. I had the chicken and potatoes.
I had beef.
So again, cue the outfit change and the light change behind us. It was dark earlier. But yeah, Charlotte woke up from a nap, so we had to hang with her for a little bit. But we were talking about food. So Daniel had the beef.
Yeah, I had the beef, and there was 3 options. It was fish, chicken, or beef. And I liked the beef a lot. I think you liked the chicken.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah, and then they had a side. I think I had green beans, and you had...
potatoes, I think?
Potatoes, yeah. It was very good.
It was delicious. Definitely a hearty meal. They have a chef on the airline, which is kind of cool. I wish we would have been able to go back and see the kitchen, but they definitely put a lot of passion and effort into the food, which is amazing. And I think a thing New Zealand does as really a whole here in this country. We'll probably have literally a whole separate video coming up shortly about food in New Zealand and how much they care for it, because there's a lot we've noticed in a week. But
a lot.
Yeah. So we ended that flight. We landed in Auckland, and this is where it got pretty messy for us, probably the messiest part of the whole trip.
Yeah.
So in Auckland, you have to go through biosecurity for your luggage, and it's very different than anyone else who's probably flown international and everything, because typically your luggage goes till like the very end. But here we had to collect all of our 10 suitcases.
So we had to go to a baggage claim right off of the flight, get 2 carts, load them up with all 10 suitcases, 10 suitcases, and then cart them all the way across the whole airport to go through a check, which is similar to what you would do for
like through customs.
Yeah, like customs.
And keep in mind, it's me and Daniel. I'm holding Charlotte, plus I'm pregnant, so I can't lift very much. So it's Daniel trying to manhandle everything, and he has to take all the suitcases off of the cart, put them like through what are those things?
It's like a rolling conveyor belt that goes through a scan to make sure that whatever we're bringing isn't going to harm the ecosystem of New Zealand.
Yeah. So
but each suitcase was like 50 to 75 pounds, and I had to lift 10 of them and then lift them back on the cart after they were done. So it was a very big process. It's very stressful when you have people waiting behind you who are like really wanting to get through through the whole thing, because they're trying to get into the country and get where they need to get, but we're like, yeah, can you tell we're moving here? We've got 10 suitcases and 3 carry-ons and a baby.
Daniel kept pushing the cart after. All the luggage kept toppling off, and the immigration people were like, can we help you? I'm like, yeah, take our suitcases out for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had to collect all of our luggage, which was a pain in the rear end. And then we had another connecting flight to
Taronga.
And it just makes me shake my head because of how much a mess it is. But
since we were late on all the other flights,
Right.
we had very little time. Typically, we're supposed to have 3 hours between the flight we just got off of and the flight to Taronga, and then we ended up only having an hour from us walking off the flight. So after we got through biosecurity and everything, I think we had like 30 to 45 minutes.
which, if we wouldn't have had all our luggage, it would have been fine.
Yeah, would have been easy. But because we had all our luggage and there's a walkway between the terminal we got in to the terminal we were supposed to go to,
Which
it was closed. So the only way to get to the next terminal over was to ride a city bus that's free, but is meant for terminal to terminal transport.
So when they said we were going to have to take a bus, I thought it was going to be like what they have in U.S. airports, like the shuttles that are in the airport, but you just like carry your luggage on it, where we could push the card on it, which would have been fine. But this is a legit city bus. So we had to go outside and get in a line, which was already like wrapped around the building long.
Yeah.
And like we were supposed to carry all of our suitcases up onto the city bus and hold it with us on our seat.
Yeah.
10 suitcases.
10 suitcases.
A baby. Carry-ons.
3 carry-ons.
It was just not going to work.
No.
So we were like...
We were stressed out, first of all. We were freaking out.
Tired.
We were very tired. We were 25 hours into the trip. So our brains weren't necessarily thinking or problem solving the way they should have been. But what we ended up doing was there were a bunch of taxis out front. We talked to a couple of them and said we need like something really big because we're gonna pay for a taxi fare all the way to our house,
which is like 3
Auckland.
hours away.
Yeah, 3-hour trip. We're like, forget it. We don't care. I don't care how much it's going to cost. Charlotte's done with the whole trip. She's tired. She just needs to get in her car seat. Hopefully she'll go to sleep and then we can get there and it'll be done. So yeah.
So $800 later.
820 New Zealand dollars.
We made it home.
Yeah.
But we were talking on the way home and we were like, there's so many different things we could have done and we wanted to share it with you just in case it happens to you.
Yeah.
You think of the other options as well. Instead of taking the taxi all the way home, we could have taken it to the other terminal. And we probably would have made our flight that way. Or if you have a baby who you don't want to ride 3 hours long, I mean, Daniel could have taken the taxi and then I could have taken the plane.
She could have taken the plane.
I'm sure
she could have made it. Her and Charlotte could have made it probably to the flight, but I would have had to stay with the suitcases in the taxi. So yeah, that would have been fine. But I definitely don't recommend going 3 hours on a 10-passenger taxi van
through Auckland.
Through Auckland in a downpouring rain.
Not fun.
Not fun.
A little nauseous.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I remember thinking, because everyone always talked about like when you land in New Zealand, you're gonna have this like feeling that's like, oh my God, we're home. And I was like stressed because I didn't get that. And it was just because we were so tired and it was so hectic.
Yeah, we were so stressed. I don't think we took a second to really breathe in
and realize we were here.
The air and realize that we were in a different country. I think we're still kind of still haven't quite understood the fact that we're 8,000 miles away from what is usually home.
Yeah.
So.
But I will tell you now, and I'm sure you get it too, every time we go outside now.
Feels good.
In our hometown, it's like
60 degrees in winter, but it feels
gorgeous. Good. It's amazing.
Yeah. The last thing we needed to mention was the suitcases.
Luggage.
Right.
So we're going to go over some prices for you, and keep in mind there's different options, but we found kind of this was the cheapest thing. So to get all of our stuff from home to New Zealand, you can rent a shipping container, but to share a 20-foot shipping container, starting price is $10,000. And that's like starting.
And this is like over a boat, a ferry.
Right.
It goes from wherever you live and they transport it to the coast and it ships across the sea.
You don't know if you're actually going to get your stuff. You don't know how long it's going to take that way. And then there's like other hidden fees too. Like they can land in one port and be like, oh, sorry, like you have to pay $5,000 more for us to continue because like gas price, stuff like that. So
a lot of unknowns, especially considering you don't know when it's going to arrive. That's just
so something we definitely didn't want to
do.
For
that price, it's just not worth it.
And so many people we've talked to, honestly, were like, sell your stuff and start over.
Which we mostly did. Right. Mostly.
So yeah, we came with 10 suitcases.
Sounds like a lot. Really wasn't.
No, wasn't. Mostly toys.
Mostly baby stuff. Yeah.
But so paying to check all of those was around $2,000-ish.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, so the weight limit for like
It's 50,
regular
50,
checked
25.
suitcases 50 pounds.
Yeah.
So some of ours were over that, so we had to pay extra as well for a heavy suitcase. And it sounds a lot to pay $2,000 for checked luggage, but again, way cheaper than $10,000.
Yep.
And we knew where it was.
Yep.
And I don't know
And
how.
it made it.
All
Suitcases
of it made it, which a lot of our family was
With
shocked.
4
that
flights, all suitcases made it. Everything was accounted for. But yeah.
But, yeah. We are here. We're at home.
We've done a lot this week. I think we're going to make a separate video about kind of the things that we've experienced or the things we've noticed that are super different.
There's so much, and
Yeah.
if we go on it now, then this video is going to be like
30
hours
minutes.
long.
We don't want that.
But yeah, keep on the lookout now that we're here. We're going to try and do videos hopefully every week.
Yeah.
And then try and do as outside as much as possible. As Daniel mentioned, it's winter here.
Yeah.
So just kind of rainy on and off, but hopefully next week we'll have more time to get out and explore and take some videos, some pretty cool places for you guys. Also, I've had people like reaching out to me asking me like, how in the world were you guys able to do this? Stuff like that. If you guys have questions, like don't hesitate to reach out. That's what we're here for, is to help you and educate you guys.
And we have an Instagram. It's at Newly New Zealand. Mm-hmm. So if you want to message through that, or we also have an email if you prefer email. It's literally just newlynewzealand@gmail.com. So any of those things, I check the email, she checks the Instagram. So any questions you all have, and we'd love to answer them for you too. So
sometimes it takes a little bit for us to get back with you. But
yeah, we're trying to be better.
You, I promise.
We're trying to be better. But thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned a little bit, but we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.